and Caitlin Clark makes a return. Just not sure she's going to be 100%.
Caitlin Clark did her thing. Coming off of the injury, she returned for the Fever, and
Are you tired of watching the Fever's season get derailed by injuries? After Sophie Cunningham's season-ending injury and Lexie Hull's black eyes, Coach Stephanie White just let a major secret slip. I'll tell you what the coach said, and how Caitlin Clark's return will instantly make the Fever a legitimate playoff threat. We'll go over the key quotes and break down why this changes everything.
It's an update on the Indiana Fever carousel of injured players. Guys, for this one here,
Stephanie White has given us an update on the Indiana Fever's carousel of injured players. And guys, the news is huge. Caitlin Clark is finally on her way back, and the confirmation came directly from Coach White herself. After Sophie Cunningham's injury and Lexie Hull rocking two black eyes like a warrior, White let it slip that Clark's return is officially happening. Fever fans, this changes everything. The league should probably brace for the noise. Do you think Caitlin Clark's return makes the Fever a legit playoff threat? The Indiana Fever have basically been held together with duct tape and hope this season. Every time it seems like they're finding a rhythm, another injury hits. Sophie Cunningham goes down.
Oh, and there's Lexie Hull. You can see both of her eyes. Contact with Gabby Williams against Seattle in the first quarter.
Lexie Hull takes a shot to the head that leaves her with two black eyes but refuses to sit out, proving she's tougher than half the league combined. Add in Arie McDonald being unavailable, and suddenly the rotation looks like a patchwork quilt. So naturally, all eyes turn to Caitlin Clark. Fans have been begging for updates, speculating about every photo, every tiny piece of information. Well, Stephanie White finally gave them what they wanted. Confirmation that Clark's return isn't just a possibility, it's imminent. White confirmed that she's been practicing shooting and working her way back, and the injuries to her teammates made the timing that much more urgent.
Positioning, you said toughest position is point guard. Now you've had 2 point guards to go down, and you brought in Odyssey at a good time. Can you talk about her coming to joining the team and how you see her now helping you in this time in the season?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I think her ability to get downhill, her ability to get to the rim and play make for herself and others is what we needed. We needed somebody who could come in and who could take some pressure off of Kelsey in a way that Arie did, and being another person who can get downhill. And then Shea as well. Shea, in particular, when we lost Sophie, we needed somebody else who could get us organized.
We talked about the positioning, and you had the toughest position as a point guard. Now you've had 2 point guards go down, and you brought in Odyssey at a good time. Can you talk about her coming to joining the team and how you see her helping you at this time in the season? Coach White's response emphasized that they needed someone who could create for themselves and others, someone who could take pressure off Kelsey Mitchell and get the team organized. Now, let's talk about why this matters so much. The Fever without Clark aren't hopeless, but they certainly aren't intimidating anyone. Kelsey Mitchell has been shouldering the scoring load, and Aliyah Boston has had some dominant nights. However, the offense goes flat without Clark stretching defenses and making passes that nobody else can even see. The Fever without Clark are just average. The Fever with Clark are an entirely different animal.
So it's always hard when you lose point guards, and for us, now this is the think about Caitlin and her not being back yet, and Arie and Sid, having Odyssey and Shea coming in at this time of year is tough, and I think that they've both answered the call.
White acknowledged that the team's margin for error is slim to none. That's coach speak for, we need our star back ASAP if we're going to compete. And she's right. This isn't just about surviving games. It's about pushing for the playoffs. Without Clark, maybe they steal a win or two against weaker teams. With Clark, they can suddenly beat anyone on the right night. Speaking of toughness,
Lexie, obviously, she had that big down in her head on Tuesday and it's developed into those 2 black eyes. Just what was your reaction to seeing that develop?
I mean, just smiling, really, and every time I see her, I'm like, oh, poor Lexie. But I think it really epitomizes Lexie's toughness when you look at her and you see those 2 black eyes. I mean, she is tough as nails. She plays all out every possession all the time. And sometimes the result is two black eyes. And so I smile every time I see her. But it definitely is a picture-perfect viewpoint of the toughness that she brings.
Lexie Hull's interview was the definition of grit. She straight up admitted she was worried about her looks because she had a photo shoot the day after the injury. She laughed it off when the swelling turned into two black eyes. That's Lexie for you. She doesn't complain. She just plays.
It's not doing great. I wish this was a filter. But this is insane. This is what I look like.
Even with Hull playing through the pain, the Fever were bleeding players. Sophie Cunningham out, Chloe Bibby in and out with leg issues, and Odyssey Sims filling in at point guard, but clearly not a long-term solution. That's why Stephanie White talking about Clark's status was so crucial. She didn't just say she's progressing, she confirmed she's been back in shoot-arounds and that the return is officially on the calendar. And here's the thing, this isn't just good news for the Fever. It's good news for the entire league. Whether you love Clark or hate her, she moves the needle. Ratings jump when she plays, arenas fill when she's on the schedule, and even opposing teams sell out just because she's coming to town. Her return isn't just a Fever boost, it's an economic boost for the entire WNBA. The timing is incredible. The Fever are dealing with injuries everywhere, and suddenly the face of the league is walking back in. Talk about a storyline. The league is practically begging for her to get back on the court, and now the moment is here. It took Sophie Cunningham's injury and Lexie Hull turning into Rocky Balboa to finally push it over the edge. Let's not overlook Stephanie White's role here. She deserves some serious credit. She's been juggling this roster like a circus act, bringing in new players and leaning on Kelsey Mitchell to do everything. White openly said they had to simplify their playbook because of all the constant lineup changes, which is coach speak for, "I have half a new roster, so I can't run anything complicated." And still, the Fever are in the playoff hunt. So when White says Caitlin Clark is coming back, it's not just coach optimism, it's reality. She knows she needs Clark to stabilize everything. She knows the league needs her back on the floor. And she knows the Fever's only real shot at making noise in the postseason depends on Clark being Clark again. And you know what? Clark coming back now after weeks of the haters calling her overhyped while she was sidelined is poetic. They've been running their mouths about how the Fever are better without her. Newsflash? No, they're not. Without her, they're a scrappy team trying to stay afloat. With her, they're must-watch basketball. That's the difference between a team with a star and a team without one. Let's get into the real juice, what Clark's return actually means. The Indiana Fever without her have been like a car running on 3 wheels. They can move forward, but every bump in the road feels like a disaster. Sophie Cunningham's injury took away one of their scrappiest defenders and vocal leaders. Lexie Hull, while still playing, has been walking proof that the Fever's injury luck is cursed. 2 black eyes, swelling, and still refusing to sit. Don't forget Ari McDonald and other depth pieces are also out. Stephanie White said it herself. The margin for error is 0. Enter Caitlin Clark. This isn't just a small boost, it's the entire identity of the team returning. When Clark is on the floor, defenses are warped. Opponents have to pick their poison, guard her from 30 feet out, and watch Aliyah Boston dominate in the paint, or collapse on Boston and get lit up by Clark raining threes. Without her, teams can stack the paint, daring the Fever to shoot and living with the results. With her, everything opens up. Stephanie White basically confirmed that this is what the Fever have been missing. She even said Clark's return will let them get back to running their system properly instead of playing duct tape basketball. That's coach speak for, "I've been holding this thing together, but I need my star quarterback back." And it couldn't come at a better time. The Fever are staring down the playoff stretch. Every game matters. One win or loss could be the difference between sneaking into the postseason or going home early. Now, let's talk about the haters, because they've been loud. The narrative has been, the Fever are more balanced without Clark, or she needs to prove herself against physical play. Funny how the ratings tank when she's not on the floor, though. Funny how road arenas only sell out when she's on the schedule. Funny how ESPN clips of Fever games without Clark barely exist. The reality is simple. The WNBA is more interesting with Clark, and the Fever are more dangerous with Clark, period. Sophie Cunningham's absence accelerated the urgency. Cunningham brought toughness and an edge every team needs. Without her, the Fever lack a spark plug. White admitted that losing Sophie left a leadership void. Add in Lexie Hull, literally playing with her face rearranged, and you suddenly realize this team needs Clark's leadership as much as her on-court play. She might only be in year 2, but she's already the emotional center of the franchise. So now, with Clark returning, the Fever shift from survivors to contenders. Nobody is handing them a title, but if she's back in form, they can upset anyone in a series. Why? Because Clark is the type of player who can flip a game in 5 minutes. One hot stretch, one flurry of logo threes, one run of no-look assists, and suddenly the momentum is gone for the other team. That's why the Fever's ceiling is so much higher with her on the floor. Let's zoom out to the league level. The WNBA has been holding its breath for her return. Networks need her. Sponsors need her. The ticket sales prove it. And the fact that Coach White confirmed it right after multiple injuries is pure drama fuel. It sets up perfectly for the hero returns to save the day storyline. Is it corny? Maybe. Is it true? Absolutely. The WNBA can't afford Clark being out for too long. We've seen what happens. Games lose buzz, the league loses storylines, and the constant coverage stalls. That's not her fault. It's the league failing to market more broadly. But for now, Clark is the engine. And when White said she's back, every executive at ESPN probably exhaled. The league's golden ticket is walking back onto the court. Remember when people said Clark was just hype and that she'd fade away after her rookie year? How's that going? She missed half a season and is still the most talked about player. Other stars are balling out: Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Angel Reese. And yet, the conversation always comes back to Clark. That's not marketing, that's demand. You can't manufacture it. Her return also sends a message to her teammates. Think about Lexie Hull grinding through pain, Sophie Cunningham sidelined, and Boston carrying a heavier load. What does it mean to them when Clark comes back? It means reinforcements. It means relief. It means they're not just clawing for wins, they're back to competing at full strength. That lifts the entire locker room. And the Fever fans? They've been starving for this. Attendance numbers are strong, but you can feel the tension. They don't just want to support a scrappy team, they want to support a winner. Clark's return tells them the wait is over. The real run starts now. Let's not forget, too, that Clark isn't just returning. She's returning with a chip on her shoulder. She's seen the commentary, she's seen the critics. Every highlight of her getting knocked down replayed 1,000 times. Every talking head saying she's not ready. You think she's not coming back motivated to shut everyone up? This is about to get spicy. Now, let's do some playoff math because this is where Clark's impact shows up the most. Without her, the Fever are maybe fighting for the last seed. With her, they can move up a slot or two. That may not sound huge, but it's the difference between facing a juggernaut in round 1 or a beatable opponent. The playoffs are all about matchups, and Clark gives the Fever the firepower to swing them. Stephanie White knows it. That's why she emphasized discipline, ball movement, and finishing through contact in her presser. Those are the exact areas where Clark changes the game. Her presence forces spacing. Her playmaking ensures the ball doesn't stick. Her competitiveness inspires teammates to match her intensity. White can simplify the system all she wants, but with Clark, the ceiling goes way up. And don't underestimate the fan factor. The Fever's home games with Clark are loud and borderline chaotic. Without her, the crowd feels dead. White even admitted that energy matters. The return of Clark isn't just basketball strategy. It's atmosphere. It's pressure on opponents. It's the kind of intangible boost you can't measure, but you feel every possession. So, yes, this is huge. It's season-defining and league-shifting, and it's exactly what the haters didn't want. Clark is back in the mix, ready to drag the Fever into playoff contention while half the roster heals up. Cunningham will be out, Hull will keep grinding, but with Clark confirmed, suddenly everything feels possible again. So there it is. Coach Stephanie White confirmed Caitlin Clark's return right when the Fever needed her most. With Sophie Cunningham out and Lexie Hull banged up, the timing couldn't be bigger. The league is about to get noisy again. What do you think? Are the Fever playoff bound with Clark back? Drop your thoughts.